These two beds right here, side by side, are Rose Cherry Bear. And I'm pretty sure Rose Cherry Bear is at the F4 stage. And they're very consistent, which is good. But I still made a selection. And I went with a taste. The structure, the plant structure's all there. The trusses are about the same. They're similar, fairly close. That did play a factor in it. But the thing that really I went with was this particular one right here, because of fruit size, the clusters, or the truss, the shape of the fruit on the truss, and that it didn't crack. So that's the important thing. The really important thing is we had a lot of heavy rain, and some of the fruit cracked. It was fairly minimal cracking. Let me see, here's a ripe one down here, and or almost ripe, and there's no cracking on that. So in general, it doesn't crack a lot. Here's another one that's ripening up, and there's no cracking on that one yet either. So, but even in the really heavy rain, this one didn't crack at all. And that's why it's got a little yellow tag on it right there. That's how I identify selections. Let me see if this one, yeah, this one's got, oh, that's bird damage. Bird's got a hold of that one. So there's another one that's ripening up. So this is a really tasty tomato. It's not like its parent was the original mutant cherry tomato that I named after myself, Brent. But that one's really sweet and very, very awesome. But it doesn't have all the qualities that Rose Cherry Bear does. But Rose Cherry Bear doesn't have. It's got a lot of value too, in that it's very classic tomato taste. It tastes like a beefsteak. It's a really good, balanced, not spectacularly sweet beefsteak. Here's a crack, like I was trying to tell you. Some of them will do this or crack, and there's even an ant in that one. But it's yeah, it's very classic taste. And because they're so big, I mean, that could serve a lot of purposes. A classic tomato taste is big. I think there's a couple of those that exist. They're open pollinated, like large red cherry and big cherry and stuff like that. But anyway, this has other qualities, especially the gene for parthenocarpy. So let me take a bite of this one. It's still good. Yes, it's still very good. Sorry, I think it'll fill a niche. You're looking at the selection I've made for Madison's Cross Regrow, or the sister line that's going to be the other half of a future hybrid. And this is what it looks like when it's immature, and this is what it looks like when it's eating size. So my hand is a little over 7 inches long, and this particular fruit here at eating size is about 9 inches long. And so the thing I don't particularly care for that all of these had, which is kind of weird because it didn't happen the first time I grew and open pollinated, grew to open pollination Madison's Cross, but the sister line, this one, it had a lot that were similar to this one. And this is the one I like. Now I'm quite certain that the next generation is going to have a little thicker neck probably. There'll be examples that I can choose from, but I like the pattern. It's got some of the two-tone pattern, light and dark yellow, and it's got the B gene because it's creeping up the let me see if I can find one here a little bit on the stem. It's not as much as I'd like, but it's looking really good. So what I did was, while the plant is still somewhat young but mature enough, I bagged a male and a female so I can self-pollinate. I can pollinate itself, otherwise known as selfing, so that I will secure the genetics of this particular line. This one was a lead contender, but I looked at the fruit on this one and it just, look at that, it had a big knob there and a thin neck, and then a torso, or the end down here, that was not, well, it just wasn't as attractive. It may be a tad bit more fruitful, but its vines are more aggressive, and so that could be a negative. Here's one here. Now I'm going to keep the squash, and I may change my mind, but so far that's the one, and I've got it bagged so that I can tell which one I'm going to carry forward. Now I've got the fruit over there too, because taste test is going to be a big factor in my selections as well. So I'm anticipating it's going to taste great because both parents were fantastic. So this one came out of the Madison's Cross regrow. So it is a full sibling to this one. And this is the only plant, well, maybe it's not the only one, it's the only one I can think of that had the green fruit. And it's taking after the delicata in a way. Now I have another cross that I made, crossing Madison's Cross directly to delicata, and I have the plants, I call this plant Green Summer because it looks similar to that one, and I've got them growing in a few different places. So Green Summer, a different cross using Madison's Cross, and they both have delicata in the background, but the other one, Green Summer, was a direct cross with delicata. Anyway, this one, what I'm wanting to get out of it is a sea pepo, or a summer type bush squash that has the qualities of a very close to the qualities of a delicata. And the attempt is to be able to get a mature squash. Now you see here, this has got a white flag on it. That means I've already crossed it to itself, and the seed in here is going to be for the next generation. So I'm hoping, what I'm trying to breed for is a fruit that has really good, sweet, mature, baking type squash meat in it, similar to the way you eat a delicata or other fruit in the sea pepo, like acorn. So here's another one. This is going to be, I didn't cross that, a bee got this one. So, but I'm gonna let both of those grow to maturity, and I'm not gonna eat them as a summer squash this year. Otherwise, because it's the only plant. Otherwise, I would be taking the fruit before I matured the fruit and testing them at an immature stage, like I am with this particular one, which is a sister line. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting. So it's been a few days, and I'm going to show you now. This is the one that was bagged. Look how long that is, and this is probably still really good eating quality. So because I can feel the skin is really soft, and I know the seed's immature. But this flag was put near it. Oh, there it is right there. I must have flagged another one over here. I'm not even showing you in the camera here. This flag is for that one. That was the one that you saw just a second ago. But this one is another one that I had done that actually, I'm sure it's this one right here. Yeah. So this is definitely, almost definitely going to be the plant that I take. And I like that it's continuing to fruit. Now this one over here, I'm still watching it, but I'm probably going to cut it out. Now there's a couple other potentials that I already cut out, so I've made the decision. So winding down, and I need to keep this one in case this one is attacked by the squash vine borer or some other thing. I need to have a viable second option for this whole grow, because these are the only two plants left. So I'm back out at this one. again, it's been a few days and it's already getting tougher here, which is good. This is the one that's got good Bible seed. Now, something I should note is that Madison's Cross, when it gets mature, when I take seed from it, the outside case is so hard that it would last for probably 2 or 3 years before the inside meat would go bad. It's like really hard. But delicata is not. When it's mature, it doesn't get that really hard rind like that. So I'm hoping this will get in between, and what that'll do is that'll mean that the storage, this will be more storage friendly version, I'm hoping, that tastes like delicata. So if it all works out and I get something that's shaped like this that resembles a taste similar to delicata but will store longer in a bush, that would be perfect. I'm going to take you over to my zucchini, but while I'm here, I'm going to show you here that this is powdery mildew, maybe downy mildew. I don't know if I've ever had downy mildew. Here's another one. This is on a kabocha. I got the fruit here for the next generation of kabocha going. That's a breeding of mine. But this is, kabocha's also got some powdery mildew. And let's see here, I've got Madison's Cross that has a little bit of powdery mildew on here. We got some growing here. Madison's Cross is wonderful, by the way. It starts fruiting really early. But I got a little bit of powdery mildew on Madison's Cross. But the whole point of me showing you is that my cucurbits, which are squash, this is a Peppo, the kabocha is a Maxima, this is a Peppo, and over here we got the Maxima again. This is kabocha. It's also showing powdery mildew. So it's not a huge deal. We've been getting so much rain, it's just crazy amount of rain. But as long as I keep trimming the lower leaves off, it'll be fine. I'll be able to mature the squash. The whole point is that these are my zucchinis that I've made a selection, and I've recently crossed one. Sorry about the air conditioner here, but you can see I've got a flag on it right here, and this is the particular fruit that I did yesterday. So that one's going to be the seed, and it's a cross of these two so that it'll pull in the qualities that both share similarly, but it'll keep a little bit of diversity for if this one has something that this one doesn't, if this one doesn't have something that this one. It'll help solidify good strong genes towards becoming open pollinated. But the thing that I noticed about this is there is no powdery mildew on these. Okay, so obviously that's a good thing. Anytime you don't have to deal with something. I just don't see any powdery mildew on it. They both are growing fantastic, and one of the parents had powdery mildew resistance, so it's a good thing. It looks like it's powdery mildew, but there's a big difference between the silvery splotches that's part of the actual pattern of the leaf compared to powdery mildew. I don't see powdery mildew on it. There we go. I don't see powdery mildew on it anywhere at all. So that's a good thing. That's a plus. And selections for tomatoes. This is the latest thing here. I've got a good bit of fruit set coming up. They're wide off, so one plant has got 2 liters on it, and it's setting fruit all the way up, which is good. It's really good. Now these are big beefsteaks. Some are a tad bit bigger than the others. The one down here is the biggest. It's got a little bit of a squattiness to it that I don't care for, although this one looks really good. So I'm still haven't made up my mind. The consistent best looking one is this one here, and it's just got a little bit of a ruffle. It's got a nice uniform shape all the way up, growing up both sides here. That's the best one. It had some yellowing leaves, so I'm watching that. That may have been some sort of deficiency that's in this area of the bed. So I'm watching that, but so far this is the ideal one, but I like all 4 of these. And as I mentioned in the last one, I planted the suckers of a lot of these tomatoes. You'll see them. There's another one there. And finishing up this video, well, let me talk about the other brandy bears back here. I've got 2 on that one and 1 over here that are possibles that I haven't ruled out. I'm going to let them continue to grow, and I'm about to put another line of tomatoes in. And so while they're small, I'll let these grow and we'll eat the fruit, and I may consider them as well. They just don't have everything I like. The last bit here, and I've got suckers growing from this particular tomato here. I had 2 in here during the raised bed update, but this one has really good fruit size and shape and all that to continue this line. So as soon as I get seed from that, I'll remove this one, and I'll continue to eat it, and the fruit, and then we'll continue to grow probably more of these Donovans. This particular plant, that suckers were placed on this side over here. So that's the plan for this, and that'll kind of end the video. Selections, I think we have squash, a couple different squashes. I've got Madison's Cross, the original, that's open pollinated now, growing here, and one other place. I've got the green summer, and then I've talked about the zucchinis and the kaboches and the tomatoes and all that.